Hey everybody, welcome back. It's a gorgeous day out today, and I wanted to make this quick video because I've been doing a lot of videos, and one of the reasons I started this channel was really just almost like it was not to make money, because this channel doesn't get a lot of views, but it's a little bit therapeutic for me because it helps me think through this process of retirement. I'm very, very interested to retire. I'm very tired of the corporate grind. I'm tired of all the nonsense in it. And there are many things that I want to do in my life that I wasn't able to do when I was younger for a myriad of reasons, but primarily because I just didn't think about it. So now what goes through my mind is scuba diving, spearfishing somewhere and catching crayfish and cooking it on a beach, jiu-jitsu in Brazil and Japan, going down to Thailand, and just doing all sorts of fun activities that I was never able to do because why? I thought I was scared. I was scared that if I missed a day of work I would get fired, or I was scared because if I didn't go to work I wouldn't make any money, because as a consultant I bill by the day. And that construct really caused something in my brain to really not function in the way that I think you should function. It's this constant rat race of chasing and chasing and chasing, and that's how I feel. I'm on that wheel and I'm so tired of it. When I was younger, one of my good friends read Rich Dad Poor Dad, and actually I'm going to do a video about that. There were a few books that I read about money that were so instrumental to my current thinking of how I did things. And quite frankly, if you're a younger person watching this video, I would highly urge you to read some books like Rich Dad Poor Dad, The Millionaire Mind. That puts your mind in the way of how you should invest, how you should think about debt, how you should think about your life, how you think about, who you marry. And the thing that I'm doing today is I'm trying to memorialize my current self. This is a message to myself for when I actually do retire, which I'm hoping is going to be in 5 years. Maybe it may be sooner, I don't know. But as of this video, I can tell you that there are many things that I'm very excited about. I'm excited about the prospect of traveling, excited about the prospect of eating great foods in another country, doing jiu-jitsu in Brazil and Japan, which is something I want to do, and living in a state where I can just sit back and say to myself, as I look back on this day, June 1, 2025, wow, Vin, you didn't really have much to worry about. Everything was fine. It worked out great. I hope so. I hope that I don't have any health problems. I hope my family doesn't have any health problems. I hope in 5 years when I look back at this video and I say to myself, wow, there are many things that you were just so wrong about, which I really hope is the case. I hope there's many things that I did up to this point that are wrong, meaning focusing too much on finances, focusing on things that may not be important to your life, focusing on things that clutter your life, whether it be material things or even your friendships. I want to be able to say in 5 years that all the planning that I did up at this time really paid off. So this is my message to you folks. When you are thinking about retiring, do not be fearful. There's nothing to fear, I think. I think the fear is, like everything, it's the unknown, because change is so hard to do, whether it's an organization and even more so for a person. But you at least have control of yourself. You have control to make the change that you want to make. And that's the advice I would give to anybody thinking about retirement, because I've been through this exercise. The first step was looking at financial stuff, looking at software and all the calculations required for taxes. That's all put to bed. It's all memorialized. If you did it correctly, or at least semi-correctly on some software package, just leave it, because it's going to probably change anyways. But you have an idea what to expect. The second thing, though, is when you do make that cutoff point, you got to jump. And when you jump, are you prepared for the next step? And many people are not. So I want to leave you with this story. It's about my dad. Over the weekend, my son is about to learn how to drive. And what's great about learning how to drive is I asked my father, actually he asked his grandfather whether he could teach him how to drive. And the one thing, my father is 90 years old. He doesn't have many more years left. And what's really great about my son asking my father to teach him to drive is my father taught everybody in my family, everybody, how to drive. That meant my mother, my sister, myself, my wife, and now my son. So there's been a handoff of generations that he actually got to see and learn how to drive with my father. And I think if anything, that's going to be a very memorable thing for my son. It's certainly most memorable for him because I think he really loves that, because he knows that there's not, you know, our time is finite. But the story I wanted to tell you is that he worked at IBM up until the age of 70. And when we were at our diner after driving, I asked him why he did that. And he said, well, what am I going to do in retirement? And that was really a sad statement for me, because I know, having been through all of this process of looking into it, that a successful retirement is setting it up. It's setting up your next phase of life, the reinvention of yourself. So do not be fearful, but I would say this: the fear will be mitigated by the amount of planning you do as much as possible, and just map it out. You know, when you say retirement, what is the first two years going to look like? And then subsequent to that, what is the next set of years going to look like? Try and map out as much as you can. And maybe that's going to make you more comfortable in your decision process, so that when an event, like say for example you're laid off or you're fired, or you know there's a concept of ageism, you know, you're sorted. And if anything, you know, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. And I think that's such a true statement. Thank you very much for watching. This is going straight onto the internet because I think this is just more about the mindset that I think is important to many people who want to retire. Thanks for watching.